Okay, my hair. I don't know. I worked on so hard today, still not straight. Thank you. That's straight. Okay. Welcome. Okay, so there are some new faces. Hi, what's your name? Haley? Wow. Your parents are good looking, huh? Yeah. Who else is new here? You were here last time? Yeah? No, you're also new. What's your name? What is it? Natalie. Where are you from? There's somebody else here from Germany. Oh, you brought her? Are you doing bigger?
Just met.
Oh wow, and you're sitting across from each other. Look at the German vibes. Like attracts like. Okay, here, let's close this room. Yeah, so we were saying that on Motzei Shabbat. First of all, how was Shabbat, everyone? Takim on the Shabbaton. How was Shabbos? Yeah? Good. I'm happy. Love it. You're welcome back. Anytime. Mikasa Sukasa. So, yeah, you guys, you okay over there?
We can see you through like little windows.
So why do you come here? Because it's like an hour, you know? You good? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, so whatever. So Motzei Shabbos, we went to Kever Rachel, and we were just saying that it's like, I just have to take a moment to say, aside from the fact that, you know, she's, how she got there, how she landed there, why she's there specifically in Bethlehem, and, you know, the spiritual reasons behind that, and what an effect it is for us to go to a place where somebody like that, where somebody that lived their life that way, and for 2,000 years, she has generations of Jews, our ancestors, all went to that place, all stopped by her, because what happens when we go to a tzaddik, when we go to someone that lived their life in a way that was so in line with everything that we know to be true, everything we know to be right, everything we know to be honest, everything we know, and we also know, that's why we're coming to these self-development classes and all these things, how hard that is to do. How hard it is to be in line, on top of my game, to do the right thing, to think correctly, to be, you know, give people the benefit of the doubt, to be a giver and not to only think about self. We know that it's so hard to be that kind of person. So when you go to a person, and especially someone that is one of the four mothers that we literally are genetically programmed like them, okay, because it's in our genes, right? It says that there are three qualities within the Jewish people that will never lose. And that's Rachmanim, Baishanim, and Gomlei Chasadim. We're naturally compassionate. We're naturally more on the, when we say shy, it doesn't mean that someone, like, you know, some people are very much not shy, but it's not the shy the way we understand it to be shy. It's different than we understand it to be. Shy means there's like a certain humility inside. The Gomlei Chasadim, that they want to make the world a better place. They want to do good for other people. They want to do tikkun olam. They want to help. They want to, you know, Israel is always the first one on the scene, and all these like, you know, all these natural disasters and all these things, and the amount of milut chasadim that there is, the amount of charity causes, the amount of love for the other person. I remember, when was it, 2 years ago, when they let Rubashkin out of prison. Do you remember this whole thing that happened in New York? Basically, he was convicted for doing something, and he was in prison for a long time, and then he was released. And the way he was released was because for years and years and years and years, the Jewish community didn't let up. And they wrote letters, and they fought for it. And I don't know the extent of the story, but I was there when he was let out of prison. I personally have seen a lot of situations where, let's say when I was little, Suri Feldman, which is a little girl, 12-year-old girl, was lost. She went on a trip with her school and she got lost, and the entire Jewish community of New York went out into the wilderness to look for Suri. People that didn't know her in the middle of the night, men, women, everyone went to help the police, right? And the police themselves reported back that it was such a such a sight for them to see that people that never heard of her, that don't know her parents, and that didn't know this girl existed, heard that she got lost because she's a Jewish girl. She was, I think, 11 or 12 at the time. They left everything. They dropped everything. They drove. Some people drove for miles to get to the place where they went on this trip, just to look for her, right? And why? How is that? So it's the Rachmanim, the Rachmanim, Baishanim, Gomlech Chasidim, the Gemilut Chasidim, the charity, the love, the care, the being there for another person is so much in our, it's in our blood, it's in our DNA, it's what we are, it's where we come from, right? And it's what connects us to ourselves. Welcome. Hi, welcome. Can I have some water, please? Thanks so much. Why is everyone sneezing? Something just happened? Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. So it's what makes us up. It's in our DNA. It's in our spiritual genetic DNA to be a Gomel Chassid. Okay, and that's what we're learning so much in these classes, in this Ein Habdolach. Thank you so much. What we're learning in these classes so much is that, okay, so wait, before I go into what we're learning in these classes for a second, let's go back to Rachel for a minute, is when you connect yourself, when you put yourself in an environment, whatever environment we put ourselves in, that's the environment we are going to eventually belong to. That's the environment we're eventually going to become likened to. Okay, so at first you can go to a place, let's say, I remember I was in Florida, I lived in Florida and Miami for 2 years, I lived on the beach, I lived in South Beach, in Miami Beach, and whatever, I'm like, I didn't go anywhere, and I have a cousin that lives in Florida who's also very, very fun, and she said, Dvor, you don't go anywhere, let me take you out. I'm like, okay, let's go out. So she takes me out, and we park the car, and we're walking for endless, what felt like hours. It felt like hours. We're walking. I'm like, where are we going? She's like, there's this bar. I'm like, what's this bar called? After walking forever. And she said, it's called Losing My Religion. So I said, okay, let's go check it out. Let's see what it's about. And we walk into this bar. The second, I don't even think I made it through the threshold of the door. Okay, the second I got to the door, I looked inside. I got like chills all over my body, and I just turned around and walked out, and I was like, she was behind me, she's like, whoa, what happened? We finally got here. I'm like, we're not going in here, there's nowhere we're going in here. Basically, it was a nude bar. Everybody was nude, and if anybody was wearing anything, it was just like a belt or like a strap or something like that, and it was so outside of like anything that I felt like anything remotely close to my normal environment.
You were just overjoyed.
I was overjoyed. Or they're just okay. So anyway, it was so outside of like my normal environment, so outside of so outside, not just my normal environment, but what I consider to be ethical and correct and right. It's just so not against, but different than what I am. Then it just met me. It met me, and the second it met me, and I don't have issues, like, I grew up not religious. It's not like I'm just like, oh my God, like these things are scary to me, but that was scary to me. And the reaction was so extreme to it because it was so outside. So in essence, where we put ourselves, that's the environment that eventually we're going to become like. So at first, it's like, imagine if I would have walked into that bar. So I would have walked in and probably stayed for like 3 minutes if I could handle it. And then the next time, let's say, in theory, okay, and the next time we would go there again, so I would be able to stay for 10 minutes. And the next time it would be like, okay, it's not so weird, like I get it. And then the next time I would come looking different. Right? That's how it goes. So eventually we become like an environment that we're a part of. That's rule number one. Meaning sometimes we want to so badly change ourselves, but it's almost like impossible to change me when everything about me that I want to change is in the environment around me, right? And that's what we had 2 weeks ago in the Parsha when Hashem says to Abraham, go, lech lecha, go from everything that you know, go from your home, go from your father, go from all the things that you're familiar with, go, leave, just walk. Where am I going? Just walk, just go. Wherever else you're going to go, in that place you're going to be able to find yourself. Because you can't find yourself in an environment that kind of leaves you, kind of keeps you in that same position. You can't find yourself, your real self, if you're looking for that, if you feel like there's something off, if you feel like there's something missing, if you feel like, I go to these places, I hang out with these people, I'm in this job, I'm in this environment, but like, I'm not happy. Like, but this is all I know. Like, this is how I grew up, this is what I know, this is what I'm familiar with, this is what I'm comfortable with. right? It's almost like talking to like a girl about like, you know, I'm a makeup artist also in my past life. And not really my past life, but it's something that I went to school for 2 years, and I loved it, and then I started working in it, and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore, because let's say I would work on older women. So the older women, if I would use a shade of lipstick that was not their red shade, you know, like they have it in their purse, the one that they have, like they only buy that one from that company, even though that company died like 40 years ago, they still have some from like different places, right? So if I would use a different shade, they would literally like bug out. They would freak out. Like I needed that shade. Why? Because what happens to us is we become so, the jar that we're in turns from glass to metal. The casing becomes so thick that it's almost like anything that is outside of this is scary. It's it's scary, even if the change and the difference is so minuscule, but it's scary because it's unfamiliar territories. And to somebody else it wouldn't be scary, right? To somebody else, like there's some people that like are scared of, let's say, drinking wheatgrass. To them it's like, I'm not drinking wheatgrass. Like, don't give me wheatgrass. I'm not drinking wheatgrass, right? And then why? Because they have this whole internal thing with like drinking these green juices, or like it's like I don't want it. It's so outside of themselves. But in essence, what we're learning is that the way to come outside of ourselves, the way to meet ourselves, is to come outside of ourselves. Because if I were so happy with who I am, so happy, first of all, I wouldn't be sitting in classes that are self-help classes or spiritual classes, or looking for ways to evolve and grow and develop and change and connect with different types of people. I wouldn't get uncomfortable in a job that I'm in for a certain amount of time and want to change a job. I wouldn't want to change anything in my life, because what is serving me on every level. It's filling me on every level. It's serving me. But when we're experiencing a life that things are not serving us, we're hitting dead ends in relationships, we're hitting dead ends in job, we're hitting dead ends with friends, we're hitting dead ends with our personal selves, with our growth, then in that place, then we have to understand that what's playing, the record that's playing in our minds, is not serving us. The metal casing that I've developed over the years, that this is what I do, and this is what I am, and this is the code of ethics that I follow, welcome, is not serving me. Hi. You could sit in my chair, my fancy one. That one, yeah. When I see, now it's very, very clear to see, because the proof is in the pudding. Meaning, if I feel like my life is not serving me, I feel either empty, or I feel hollow, or I feel aimless, or I feel unsatisfied, or I don't feel like, okay, yeah, I have a job. Okay, yeah, I'm making money. Okay, yeah, I have a boyfriend or I have a girlfriend. Okay, yeah, but like I have a roof over my head, and I have my family, and I have my nieces and nephews, or I have my kids, or but every day doesn't feel, I don't feel alive in my days. If I don't feel alive in my life, that means that there is a conversation, an internal conversation that's taking place, that's on repeat for many years, that we don't hear anymore. We don't hear, we just kind of abide, we follow, okay? And it's the drum that we just beat to, okay? But it's not serving me. So understanding number one, equation number one is, if you feel, okay, and every single human being, especially Jews, because we have an added level of engine, we have an added level of, like we just said before, because we have these tchunos, we have these characteristics of baishanim, gomle chasadim, rachmanim. We have these qualities about us that are spiritual. I don't look different from the average non-Jew, right? I remember that was like my whole thing when I was little, and like for whoever heard my life story, and I was beat up in public school. I remember thinking, when I walked away from that episode, thinking like, why do they beat me up? Like, I don't look different from them. I don't have a Jewish nose, and I eat pepperoni pizza just like they eat pepperoni pizza. There was no difference between them. I couldn't find a difference, but there was something very different about me, and that's why they picked on the fact that I was a Jew, But I looked like you, I dressed like you, I ate like you, I hung out like you, I did like you. We were best friends. It wasn't just random people that did that. Because there is something about being Jewish that is different. And that's why the whole world recognizes that about Israel, about the Jews. That's what we were talking about last week with what's his name? The philosopher. Mark Twain. Mark Twain. Last time it was also like this. You said it a second after I said it. I think it was you. It wasn't you. Okay. It was somebody else. So, like Mark Twain, he was also saying in that article, you've read that article, correct? You've all seen it, that he wrote, that essay that he wrote about the Jewish people, that it's just an anomaly. It's just something that he can't understand. Right? The world can't understand this nation that keeps popping up, even though it's been trying to be killed out and wiped out for so many thousands of years while it's walking on this planet. So many nations have risen up against the Jews, and the Jews still were able to somehow pop their heads back up and say, okay, now we're here, and now we're here. It's like, where's Waldo? He's always like somewhere else, right? How is that even possible? And all those gigantic nations, all those huge, like, bulldozers, huge, with armies and civilizations and thriving economies and all that, they've all dissolved. And the Jew, he says, and the Jew lives on and he's still here. What's the secret of his immortality? What's the secret of the fact that we're still around? Because by definition, being Jewish, you have qualities about you that it's not that non-Jews don't have. You just have them a lot stronger, more intense, a lot more potent. And the need to create, and the need to do, and the need to evolve, and the need to grow is just much more apparent by us. That's why in the Jewish community, mental illness is of the highest of all communities. That's why it's there, because we can literally drive ourselves nuts. We can make ourselves crazy. Right? And mental illness, a lot of it is also genetic. So it's from generations of people that have been struggling to be Jews, that have been struggling, that had to run away, that were murdered, that were ransacked, their lives were turned upside down because of who they were. Right? So the thing is like this. So when we connect ourselves, this is still like the Hagdama to our class. The thing that when we connect ourselves to people, we put ourselves in an environment where, let's say like Kever Achel, Rachel's tomb, right? You walk in there. Why are you there? Why are all those people there? And sometimes I've walked in and there was no one there. A few weeks ago I walked in, I was alone with her. It was like one of the most incredible nights of my life. But sometimes you walk in and there's no place to move. There was no place to move. We were squished, right? There was no place to even hold a siddur, right? Why are all those people there? What are they coming for? They're coming for the ambiance? What are they coming for? They're coming to connect themselves, attach themselves on a spiritual level to an energy, to a person, to an entity that is all completely altruistic, that aligned herself with the truth over and over and over and over again. And if you learn the story of her life, okay, and it's not just her, it's all the leaders that we come from that make us who we are, that make this people, the people that we are, the Jewish people. All of them, the name of the game by everyone was to align themselves with truth. Now, aligning myself with truth. Okay, aligning myself with truth. Let's give an example. Right now, I can either go home, drink a beer, and watch a show with a friend, or I can go to the gym. Now, is there a clear right or wrong? No. Well, what determines what's right and what's wrong in this scenario?
Your motive.
What? Your motive, which means expand. Give me more.
What you hope to achieve from that particular thing you're doing.
Okay, go deeper. Okay, is watching a show with a friend wrong? No. Is going to the gym right? Is going to the gym always right? You had an anxiety attack and you broke your leg. Is it right for you to go to the gym right now? Yes. Yes, it's right.
It just depends where your priorities are at that moment. If it's something that you want to invest in yourself at that moment, then go to the gym. If you want to invest in your friendships and you know, like sometimes being with a friend is better therapy than letting it out in the gym.
Exactly. Good. Exactly. So now we're coming full circle to Ein Habdolach. We're coming full circle to this thing. I don't know what it is, but every time I speak, no matter where I am, and when there's a door open, any door. Not closed. Otherwise, I'm going to start stuttering. Okay. So it's not that the gym is right or the hanging out with a friend is right. And let's follow me here. Everybody, get into the. It's really, really annoying to me that I can't see you, Malka.
I know, it's annoying me too.
Okay.
I don't know where to sit.
Can you come sit here?
Where?
Right here next to me.
Thank you.
But there's no chair for you.
There's
chair?
I don't want to take.
Come in. Welcome. No, don't sit behind me. Okay.
Sorry, do you want to just pass mine onto your
You got it? Okay. So, we're good. Oh, now I can't see you. What's your name again? Tell me your name again. Yes, you. What? Avigail. Okay. Maybe Rachel, can you move back a little bit? Can you all just move back? Drop.
Yeah, these girls
Move back. Yes. Esther, move back. Everybody move back. Yes. Okay. We need feng shui in order for this to work. It's all about energy. Okay, good. So we're coming full circle to what we're learning in Ein Habdolach. So with this example with the gym and with this sitting on the couch and with a friend, okay? So there's not one that's right and one that's wrong. So everything, really, reality is very much objective. Our reality is subjective to how we see it. But in essence, if something is wrong or right, we can only know if something is wrong or right based on the moment. Meaning, in the Torah it says, don't kill. But then it also says, if somebody comes to kill you, you have to protect yourself and you have to kill him first. Meaning, there are laws to everything. It's not that one thing is 100% black and one thing is 100% right. Sometimes you can be you can be doing something that looks so holy, that looks so amazing, with the wrong thoughts going through your head. Right? I want to, the first example that comes to my mind, I don't know why this is an example that comes to my mind, but it's like those, those guys that borrow their friends' kids to go to the park and hang out with their friends' kids so they can pick up girls. Right? What? So he's really he's really, what? לא, בתל אביב רק עם כלבים, אבל במדינות אחרות גם ילדים. Right, in Jerusalem we take kids, not dogs. So it looks like he's doing such a nice thing. His friend is like, thank you, yes, take my kid to the park, that's so nice. He's like the nicest guy ever. He's taking his kids. The ladies at the park think he's so nice. The guys in the park think he's insane, right? And then, but really, his motives are very different than what everyone else is thinking, right? And that's really going to determine if something is right or wrong. That's really going to determine if something is right or wrong. Now, what's the deal with right or wrong? Okay, so I do things that are wrong. So big deal. So I'm doing things that are wrong. What's the big deal, right? Here's the thing. Aligning ourselves, like Rachel, like Rachel, okay? What she did in her lifetime is clearly written out, that she gave up of herself in order for someone else not to pay a very big price. So, and she paid a really, really, really big price for that to happen. Meaning she paid with blood, sweat, and tears for that to happen. She gave away her husband, who she waited for a very long time to marry, to her sister, in order for her sister not to be embarrassed in the scenario that they were in. And it's a lot deeper, and there's a lot of Torah on it. It's a lot deeper than just the superficial story that we know that she gave up the signs. But what she was in essence doing on a spiritual level was that she was aligning herself against all resistance. That's the thing. Muscles don't grow if there's no resistance. Growth doesn't happen without resistance. Growth doesn't happen without resistance. Meaning, I will continue, God forbid, to get the same old from my life if I don't put myself in a situation where I feel resistance. If I don't put myself in a situation where I feel like my natural reaction would be not to. The natural part of her was to, excuse me, no, I'm going to marry him. You're going to wait for the man of your dreams. I wait for the man of my dreams. Okay? Like, that's something that would have been human. That's what you're saying. Like, okay, so you messed up, so you took revenge, so you gossiped, so you hurt someone, so you badmouthed someone, so you said something really out of hand, or whatever, so you were selfish. You're human. We know we're human. That's a given. We all know we're human? Is there anyone not human here? Okay. So, I was on the way here and I heard, I was on my headphones and YouTube, so it skips to these documentaries in the middle of my commercials. And there's this very dramatic thing. I was like, wow, what is that? So basically they discovered aliens. And they're talking about the aliens, this and that and all these things. So it was interesting. I don't know, I skipped. but we're human. And we all know the human condition. The human condition is, in very, very basic, very superficial terms, I do what works for me. I have to do what works for me because what works for me is called survival. Andrew, you're always late. It's all right. I'll tell you everything I said till now afterwards. I'll send you the link. Okay, so we know that there's a human condition, and we know what it is. And the bottom line of the human condition is anything that pushes me is for my gain. Anything that pushes me is for my benefit. It's for my pleasure. Anything. Okay? And we're not one-dimensional. We're very deep, and we're many layers, and it's complicated. Okay? But what these classes come to tell us and come to teach us is that when you learn the science, then it's not that complicated. It's like you've seen the light. And today, this class, we're going to see the light. This class is wow, and next class is I'm going to give out Ritalin. Okay? So that way you can all really get it. I'm kidding. You're all looking at me like, okay. So what was I saying right before that? I was so excited about seeing the light that I forgot what I was saying.
Anything that pushes me is from my pleasure.
Yeah, okay, yes, good. So I'm either so whatever I grab in life, whatever I go for in life, whatever it is, okay? Whether it's running a marathon, or it's eating something, or it's dating this person, or it's taking that vacation, or it's applying to that job, or going to that school. Whatever it is that I'm grabbing in life, I have to know that I want it because I feel like it's going to give me more. It's going to add more to me. And we all want to add more. Just when a child comes into this world, how does he come in? With his fists tightened. Because the human condition is give me. I want. Anyone have kids in this room? When your baby was born, okay, when he was 6 months old, what was the natural day-to-day occurrences with him developing?
Just grabbing things.
Everything. And where does he put it?
In his mouth.
In his mouth. We do the same thing. Whatever we can ingest, we want to ingest. So if we can't eat it or get it into our actual physical bodies, then we get as close as possible in proximity to it. Because that's how we're programmed. We're programmed, the human condition is lekabel, lakachat, to take, okay? To feed. And now, we spend our entire lives living that way and feel unfulfilled. We'll have peaks of fulfillment. We'll go for that college degree, we'll get it, and then it's now what? And then we'll go for that wonderful job, and we'll go through 17 insane interviews, and then we'll be we'll get it, and oh, nice haircut.
Thank you.
We'll be now what? Right? Now what? Now what? We get to the peak, and then we're back to the same plateau of now what? Why? Because here's the meat and potatoes of what we're going to get into tonight. Okay. You ready? I'm so excited for tonight's class. It's really one of these like eye-opening experiences, God willing. Please God. And if you're confused at the end of this class, just talk to me, okay? Okay. So when we align ourselves with what's right, it usually is what's difficult. It usually is what we have resistance towards. Okay? Because there is no growth without resistance. Muscles do not develop when I'm lifting 5 pounds and it does nothing for me. I could sit here for 30 years. I'm lifting 5 pounds and it's not doing anything to me. Nothing. Maybe I'm sweating. So I'm like, burning some calories. But beyond that, I'm not developing muscle. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not going from point A to point Z because there's no resistance. I need the resistance. I need the pain. I need the intensity there in that experience in order to move me, in order for me to wake up the next morning or in a month from now and see a change, see that I moved. That's how it works, right? But we're very much programmed also that because we have this constant duality, and the duality is I have this knee-jerk reaction because that's how I came into this world with my fists clenched, that I want to take. Not realizing that all this I want to take for myself, meaning if I'm going back to my apartment and I told myself I'm going to the gym tonight, I have not been to the gym in a week, I really want to go to the gym tonight, I feel like I want to go to the gym tonight, and all of a sudden the moment of truth comes and there's something else that's going on, and I really don't feel like getting in my gym clothes, and I really don't feel like getting on the treadmill, or I really don't feel like going to that class, and it's just like the thought. Meanwhile, there's this option, right? The right thing to do in that position would be to go. To go. Because when the resistance comes, you know that that's your opportunity for growth. When the resistance meets us, that's our opportunity for growth. When it's same old, when it's me staying in comfort zone, when it's me being the same person day in, day out, really, just being the same person day in, day out, eating the same things, interacting with the same people, watching my steps the same way I've always watched my steps, not taking a leap outside of my comfort zone, not doing the things that scare me a little bit, that challenge me a little bit, that I meet resistance in. When I'm in that kind of position, then my casing gets even thicker and thicker and thicker, and my responses, my reactions, my manifestations stay the same. The people will always be the same. The jobs will always be the same. I will always find myself in that same, why am I in this again? How is this happening again? It's happening again only because of my fear, the fear that I have, or the not wanting to experience pain. Going to the gym versus sitting on my couch is pain. I don't want to experience pain. We're set up to dodge pain. That's how we're like there's like this instinct for survival. That's where it comes from. My want to avoid pain. I remember when I was giving birth to both of them, and I remember the moment where I felt like this is too much pain. Like I'm seeing the light. Like I'm seeing the next world. Like it's not. This is too because my second birth. I was friends with a really spiritual person at the time, and she was telling me how don't go for an epidural, and it's such a spiritual experience, and it's you can really feel like God, and you feel so close to Him, and you're just on this So no, not everyone feels that. Okay, I was feeling very spiritualized, and I thought I was going to leave this world, okay? And I saw the light, and eventually the pain got so intense that I remember my mind just detaching from the pain because it was so much. Some people go to the Ariz mikvah in Tzfat, right? It's a mikvah by who the tzaddik, his name was the Arizal, and it's known to be freezing cold.
I've been in there.
You've been in it.
Freezing
cold. But I've spoken to many people that go, and when they go, the initial jump in the water is freezing cold, but then they stay in and they go in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and eventually it's so cold that they don't feel it anymore. It's so cold they don't feel it anymore. They don't feel the cold anymore. They don't feel it. It's just they become numb, whatever, right? Bad circulation, or I don't know, something. They just don't feel it anymore. And that's exactly the same thing. It's exactly what we're talking about here. Okay? And when we're understanding this concept in the concept of, oh, 1 second. So, if I want to feel better, and if I want to get different results, and if I want to manifest differently, and if I want to see my life go, work. You know, where something is like just stuck and it's not going, and like the pipes are just they're just plugged. They're not plugged. They're clogged. Thank you. And they're just clogged, and it's just not working. And you're like, go already. I just want to flush this toilet, right? It's not going. It's just not going because in order for it to go, we have to take the first step. So we do this all the time. But we do this all the time. We're not only enslaved to our addictions and to what feels right, because our minds also make connections to long-term things, which means, for example, you don't want to go to college right now. Who wants to go to college? I mean, some people want to go to college. I didn't want to go to college. I don't know anyone that wanted to go to college. I know some people that wanted to go to college, but they were weird people. You don't want to do that, but you know what that comes with. You know that going to college will allow you to, whatever, this is what they say, will allow you to secure a good position, will allow you to make a good living, will allow you to, right, so getting that information under your belt and going through all those years of thesis and papers and old professors that are like 150 years old that you can't even hear him and going through all of that pain. What that eventually does to you is spits you out on the other end with a degree, and now that degree will deliver pleasure. You understand? That degree will deliver pleasure. That's why your body, your mind is ready to go through 4 years or 6 years or 8 years of something that's not easy, that's not comfortable, that's not fun. Put yourself under deadlines and have to pay a lot of money. Because your mind knows that at the end, I'm going to receive something good from this. This is going to help me. I wake up in the morning to go to work not because I love it so much, because it's going to give me money. It's going to give me what I need. So that's why I put myself in that uncomfortable position. So we put ourselves in uncomfortable positions all the time. But we only do that when our minds link it to pleasure at the end of the rainbow. That there is gold coins at the end of that rainbow. So now all we have to learn here is how to do that with the areas of our life that we're sabotaging, with the areas of our life that we're shooting ourselves in the foot in. Okay? Because all the big ones that everyone says, you need to go to college, you need to get a job, you need to get married, you need to have kids, all that we have an internal drive for. I want that. I'll go through whatever, I'll do whatever to get that. Okay, I have an internal drive because they've linked it so much in our environment, how we grew up, in our homes, in schools, with our teachers. They linked it one to the next so much that it makes sense. I'm willing to put myself in that kind of challenging position. People get pregnant because of that. Pregnancy is not easy, and then giving birth is not easy, and having kids is not easy. But we know, especially as when you've never had a kid, then you just trust those people that tell you there's nothing like having a child. So you trust them that it's going to be good. So you're already putting yourself in an uncomfortable position because of that, because of the rewarding experience. So okay. So now we're moving into the real stuff. Okay, now we're moving into to class 5. Okay. I send it to you on the chat. If you want, you can look at it now, or you can not look at it now. It's up to you. Okay. Let's go through this for a second. Let's go through this for a second and talk about this for a second. Okay. Here we go. You ready? Okay. We're recapping for a second because this is going to fit right into what we're doing today. Okay. The all that we're talking about here is the feel-goods, okay? The feel-goods. Whatever feel-goods they are, okay? It could be college, and it could be going through 4 years of that in order to get that, but the all at the end of that degree is the all. That's what we're after. That's what we're grabbing, okay? That's what we're grabbing. As people that have come into this world to grab, that's what we're grabbing. That's what we're after. We are after this. This equals pleasure. This equals intimacy. This equals love. This equals something that tastes good. This equals a good feeling. Okay? That's what this all is. Okay? That's what we want. That's what we're all after. That's what gets everyone moving in the morning. Now, we're going to talk today about the kilim. What are these vessels? Okay? Again, this is all going on inside of our very complicated beings. Our beings that are comprised of mind, body, soul. Every single one of those attributes, every single one of those properties has its own wants, has its own needs. It's almost like juggling 3 kids. Okay? Mind says one thing, body says something else, soul says something different. Where does all our confusion come from? When all of them are saying something different. Where does all of our healing come from? When they're aligned. Okay? When they're aligned. So, when our thoughts are aligned with our souls, and our souls are aligned with our bodies, and our bodies are aligned with our minds, and our bodies are aligned with our souls, and when all parts of me, because it's me, are aligned, then all of a sudden my life feels like it's working. Like it's working. And it doesn't mean that there are no challenges. There are challenges, but I'm in a space, I'm in a place that that another thing on my plate won't send me to panic, won't send me to anxiety, won't send me to fear. Another thing on my plate won't make me fall apart. Another responsibility, another ticket, another headache, another whatever, it won't make me fall apart. I'll be able to take on people that have an internal world that is aligned, okay? An internal world that is possible to do it, okay? It's possible. It's not just possible. It's doable. It's expected. We can. That's what sets us aside from animals. Animals are all based on instinct. Human beings are much more sophisticated than that. We're not based on instinct. If we were only based on instinct, and it was only what makes me feel good right now, then we would be like animals. And there are many people walking around like that in the world today. But not the people in this room. Because people that are constantly looking for answers, that are constantly looking to better their game, that are constantly looking for more tricks, more tools. Those are people that are humans in the making. That are really, really wanting to, we understand deep down that we need to get aligned. That once I have this internal calm, equilibrium inside, then I know that externally things are going to work out. I know it. I just know it. When I'm trying to fix him to match me, and I'm trying to change that in order to so he'll love me, and I'm trying to show up in all these ways in order to be seen, in order to be heard, in order to be appreciated, I'm trying to manipulate everything in my life in order for that thing to give me what I need. That's the wrong way. That is the wrong way at doing things. Because I'm always going to come up, I'm always going to walk away feeling emptier, feeling spent, feeling exhausted. The manipulation, it's not really manipulation, but the work, like we've been saying all this time, is here, and here is the projector. This is the projector, and then my life is what I'm projecting. Kelim. Okay? So why are kelim so important? Imagine your nefesh is like a wardrobe. You walk into this wardrobe, and you have drawers and drawers and drawers and drawers and drawers and drawers and drawers. Okay? Now, when your wardrobe is organized, and it's nice, and it's orderly, and it smells nice, then it's nice to get in there, to go in there, and to get dressed, and you always put your clothes away, because it's already all organized, so you're going to fold your clothes, or you're going to put them in the hamper, and it's all, right? But when you walk into your wardrobe, and all the drawers are opened, and stuff is hanging out, and you're stepping on your high heels, and earrings, or for your guys, I don't know, all your paraphernalia, and right, and it's just like a mess. All you want to do is just leave, and if you're trying to find something, then it's going to be a really stressful experience. If you're trying to find something in there, it's going to be stressful. For some of us, not me, I would never cry, but I've cried looking for clothes that I couldn't find. Like, where is it? I have to go, and I can't find it. Why? Because it's a mess, because the drawers are all open and everything's hanging out. The nefesh is the exact same way. When the drawers in the nefesh are opened, when there's unfinished business, when there's stuff that I'm walking around with, thoughts, ideas about people, about life, about myself, about what I can or cannot have, right? Or this is the way it has to be, or I'm only going to go for this kind of person. And I get very, very rigid about what I do or don't do, what I like or don't like, who I am and who I'm not. Right? I have to know that the drawers in my nefesh, the ones that are opened, That's unfinished business. That's something that's creating this loop that I'm in. That's creating this loop that I'm in, that I can't find the way out of. How long am I supposed to be investing in this business until it takes off? How long should I be investing in this relationship until he proposes, or until it makes sense, or until it works? How long am I going to be in this marriage until I have a baby? How long, right? And people are constantly finding themselves in positions where they're stuck. So the stuckness is coming from the unfinished business, from the open drawers. Now our job is to close these drawers. And the closing the drawers happens like this. Kelim. Kelim, like we said last time, are vessels. Okay? We have vessels. How do I make a vessel? What do I need a vessel for? What are vessels for spiritually? How does that work on a nefesh level? Anyone know? What is it?
To receive.
To receive. Okay. How do I get this in order to be able to receive it? How do I make one? How do I create a vessel, a kli, in my nefesh?
Through experience.
Good. Good. So, she's like, I don't know what I just said, but yeah. So, what did you mean when you said that?
When we do certain things, every time we learn, and then I think through this we get stronger.
Nice. So I'm going to sharpen that a drop.
Every time you see what's wrong with you, sometimes like you become more humble, or you become more aware, or you learn more.
Good.
So you are open to have a bigger vessel, so that you grow.
Good. So every time we learn something new, anytime we force ourselves into a position where we're going to learn something new, where we're going to expand our knowledge, we create kelim. We create vessels. Okay? It's almost like someone that grew up in the hood, never learned how to read. Never learned how to read. Now he's 16 years old, he wants to get his life back together, he wants to have a life for himself. So he puts himself in a position where he's learning ABCs, and then he's learning how to write, and then he's learning how to read, and he's taking his GED, and he's working really, really hard. Eventually, he's going to learn how to read and write, and eventually, his whole life is going to open up before him. Where before he was 16 years old, he couldn't read the signs, and he couldn't read anything. His world was this little. This little. And all of a sudden, now he's acquired this skill, and all of a sudden, the world has become so much bigger for him. He has opportunities he's never had before. He can get jobs he couldn't get before. He can be in an environment he couldn't be around before. He can go to college. He can be around people that are coming from better societies, better backgrounds, that he can eventually become friends with, and he can expand himself. Meaning a person is only as small as their kelim, their vessels. Acquire more vessels, and by default, just the way it works, you attract, your world opens up. Your ability to get more, to experience more from your life opens up. Your ability to expand, to experience life in a different way, and that way that we wanted to take it down a different way, not the same old, but different, that's how it happens. It happens by creating vessels. How do I create vessels? I create vessels by, number one, expanding my knowledge. Learning more, understanding the world, the cosmos, mysticism, Kabbalah, science, art, expanding myself. The more I expand myself, more vessels, the more light. That's all that we were talking about here.
Coming out of your comfort zone.
Coming out of your comfort zone is allowing yourself to expand. So, I'm a life coach, right? And so I have, maybe she's even watching this. So I have one of my people that I work with, who I love. I've been working with her for many years. She, on and off. So she, more off than on, but let's just say we're friends for a long time. And she started off the sessions with me like, plain Jane, everything's good. Okay, great. So why are we here? I don't know. I just thought I needed something. Okay. What do you think we need? I don't know. Okay, where are you struggling in your life? Yeah, relationships. Tell me about your relationships. Divorced twice. Okay. Were they similar? Husband A and husband B? I never thought about it, but yeah, like they had like very similar like ways of making me feel so insignificant. Like I always felt small in those relationships. They were just such jerks. right? So, and then now, right? And now at this point, when I was speaking to her just a few days ago, she was like, Deborah, it's crazy to me that when I spoke to you at first, I was like, yeah, everything is good. Like basically all I was doing was going to work, coming home, and like spending the evening watching Netflix. And like she had a very good job, and she had one child who was away in college, and she does her thing. She goes to work, she comes home, right? And over the course of our life coaching sessions, she took on herself so many new things. She's taking courses in like 3 different things that she didn't even know were interesting to her. And all of a sudden when she started looking into them, she was like, oh, that's interesting to me, and that's interesting to me. All of a sudden she expanded her horizons. And this course, and that leads to that relationship. And then that relationship leads to going to the gym twice a week. And then all of a sudden she realizes that she is like a lover of yoga, and she's like going, and she's gonna eventually get like, meaning everything started to change for her in a matter of 3 months, 4 months. Why? Because before, called as a kelim ktanim, small vessels. When you have small vessels, you have small outcomes. When you have big vessels, you have bigger outcomes. And the vessels can only come, we can only acquire vessels by expansion. By putting ourselves in a position where it's coming out of comfort zone, okay? Learning new things, forcing ourselves to learn new things. Even if I have no time and I'm working around the clock and I have all the excuses in the world, this doesn't matter. My happiness and my growth and my connections in my life and my success as a person will only come from my expansion. So we get that. So that's the kilim. Great. Good. And now we said about last week about the masach and the ol chozel. And just for a second to recap, the masach is a screen. And the screen means like this. For example, last week I gave you all these examples about what not to do in order to put up a masach. For example, if I want this light, if I want to feel good right now I want to feel good. So right now feeling good would be to go home with my friend and to watch that movie. Right? To put up a masach there is to say, can we meet in an hour? Can we meet in an hour and put myself on a half hour, 20-minute treadmill thing, or going to a class, and then meeting her in an hour is creating a masach. So, what do I want from that experience with my girlfriend? What do I want? What am I after? What do I want it? I want comfort. I want fun, easy, right? Right, exactly. So that's why I want that. That is the O. I want pleasure, period. We are after O. We are a bunch of O vampires. That's what we are. We just want light. We just want pleasure, okay? So, last time we said, so let's say I give into that and I go with her, right? Once I get that movie and I get that 2 hours sitting with her and then she goes home or whatever, okay? Then I get the O, I get full of the O, I get full of the pleasure, and then it leaves. It's over. It's over. And what happens to my kli, what happens to the vessel that held this light in it, that held this pleasurable experience, is that we said last time, it breaks and it falls to the klipot. Now these are all esoteric terms to understand really what's going on in our nefesh. Why I all of a sudden feel empty. Why I all of a sudden feel angry. Why I all of a sudden feel sad. Why I all of a sudden feel aimless. Why I all of a sudden feel like I want to isolate myself. Why I all of a sudden feel like I want to push the people that I love away. Why? Why is that everything is sort of kind of working and I'm still so dissatisfied and unhappy? These are all ways, what we're learning about the and the masach and all these things is to understand really where all of that is happening, where all that is taking place, and to heal that, and to undo that, and to create new vessels, and to create more light. Okay? So let's say I would put up the masach and I would go to the gym and I would come back and I would hang out with her. So the experience with her, after putting up the masach, what it would do is the light would fit the actual vessel. Okay, because like we explained last time, okay, because this is so important, because this is really, really the meat and potatoes in order to get class 6. Okay, and that's why I'm a little bit repeating, because it's super vital. Okay, and in class 6 we're going to get all the like aha moments and the nuggets and all of that. Okay, I know it's technical, but bear with me. When we put up the masach, what we're doing in essence, when we're taking space from what we want this second, and we're saying, I'm not going to drink it now, I'm not going to eat it now, I'm not going to go there now, or I am going to do this thing now that I'm not in the mood of doing, like going to the gym or taking down the garbage, Right now I'm running out the door. Everyone's waiting for me downstairs. There's the bag of garbage by the door. I don't feel like stopping for a second by the garbage can and taking it. But going against the resistance of not taking out the garbage and taking it with me and putting it in the garbage can, what that does is create the masach. I'm running out. I want to go out. I put a masach. I do the thing that I have resistance towards. Right? And then what happens is that the light that comes into me, the pleasure that I experience from the satisfying experience, the fun experience, what happens is that it sticks. It doesn't leave. It doesn't leave me empty. It doesn't leave me with a gaping hole. It doesn't leave me feeling like alone. It doesn't leave me feeling left, abandoned. It doesn't leave me feeling those things. I feel good. I feel good, because that's what's called kelim ve'orot. That's what's called hashva'at hatzura. Hashva'at hatzura is what we said before, like attracts like. Like attracts like is real. Like attracts like is the deal. Like attracts like is the deal. Why? Because when I make the vessel, when I create myself into a person, like we said last time, that is a mashpia and is not a taker, because our natural human instinct is to take and not to give. Okay? When I make myself into a giver by not going with her and going to the gym, now question for you, how is that making myself into a giver?
You're giving to your soul what you need, what your soul needs.
Good. More.
That's all I've got.
That's all he's got. More, give me more. What are you doing when you're not going there and you are going there? You're filling yourself for sure.
Energy.
Exactly. But what else are you doing? Coming out of your comfort zone. You are in the moment of resistance in the gym lifting 30 pounds. You're in the gym lifting 30 pounds. That's what's going on in the moment. Now, you're in that moment of moving to that place. That resistance, that going against that resistance, that putting yourself in that place, that is you making your vessel, changing your tzura, changing your vibration. Okay, it all boils down to energy. Changing your vibration from taking, because the voice of the child inside is, give me the sweet sugar now. I don't care what time it is. I don't want to brush my teeth. I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to learn. I don't want to do my homework. That's the voice that we're dealing with. You understand that? That's what we're up against. That's who's there 24/7. That's the voice of the gimme, 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 gimme. That's a koach mekabel atzmo. So we're up against that. So when we don't listen to that voice, and we then in turn train that voice, we say, okay, sweetie, I know you want the chocolate right now. We're going to have it soon. We're going to first have dinner, and then we're going to have dessert, and then you can get that chocolate. Right? That training, that curbing, that leaning into resistance as opposed to away from it and shying away from it, that changes our vessels from takers to givers. We're giving by the fact that we are not listening to the knee-jerk reaction. We're not listening to the koach mekabel atzmo. We're not going with the steak. No. We're training our dragon. We're putting a leash on it. And we're doing what's right as opposed to what feels right. We're doing what's right. When we align ourselves with doing what's right, especially when it's difficult, okay? When it's not easy for me to put my hand in my pocket and give tzedakah, but I do it anyway. When it's not easy for me not to go on my phone on Friday night, but I do it anyway. Why is the entire Torah full of restrictions, goodness gracious? Why is the whole thing full of restrictions? Think about it for a second. If the name of the game here is to restrict, is to put a leash on the dragon, is to say, I know your voice. I know your wants. I know you want me to go back to that guy that is so bad for me. Because there's something there that is irresistible to me, but it's that same feeling that I have when I go back to that drug, and I go back to that another drink, and I go back to that, not today. I'm not sending out my resume today. I'm not gonna, it's a gaping black hole that just is always pulling at us. And the masach that we put up, it's like Xena, warrior princess, or like Wonder Woman when she puts up her armor, her shield. That is the masach. It's the shield. It's a saying, voice, I know you. Comfort, pleasure, relax, don't work hard. I know you. I've eaten from you, from this forbidden tree. I've eaten so many times. I've always landed back in the same overweight, unsatisfied, unloved, unhappy, unfulfilled place. So I know where you're going to lead me. You're going to give me that high. You're going to give me that light for 5-10 minutes, for an hour, for a week, for a month, maybe, okay? You're going to give me that light. You're going to give me that good feeling for a little bit, and then you're going to spit me out, and then I'm going to be right back where I was, or even worse. Because I know it's just a tease. I know this is just tastes good, feels good now. I know this is not really. But I'm going to come back to you. Because we are humans. So we are allowed to partake from things. But we're only allowed, not allowed like as in allowed like in pre-Winnie allowed. But if we want to play our game, our cards right, and we want to get far, fast, without having to spend years in detour, then we have to learn how to put up the shield. The shield of armor. We have to learn how to put up that shield. And that shield is leaning into where there's resistance. Leaning into where it's difficult. It's difficult for you not to call him back, but you made a decision that he's not, and you made a decision that she's not, and it's right. And what's pulling you into that place over and over again is the comfort, is the neediness, is the stuff that you are aware that is not. The resistance there, that is what's turning you from a mashpia, from a mekabel to a mashpia, from someone that just was looking to take and to feed that insane, what's the word?
Desire?
Desire, it's that craving. Who said that? Yeah. It's because you're taking notes. I have a thing with people that take notes. People that take notes are just like, they're so scared that they're going to miss something really important, that they're just like, they're there.
No, my friend, she told me to take notes, but I like as well.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I can send you some notes too.
I don't, but here I go.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, what were you just saying? Nice to meet you. I remember. Take care. What were you just saying? What were you just saying before? Read your last sentence there.
We do what is right as opposed to what feels right. I didn't.
Oh yeah, you didn't. You
I didn't catch
yeah.
everything.
Okay.
Just what I want.
What was the last thing we were just saying? Oh, with the armor, with the masah, with the cravings. Exactly. Thank you. Cravings. Cravings. It is a craving. The more sugar you eat, the more sugar you want. Okay? That's the klipot. The klipot is what happens when the light goes into the kli, not in the right time, not when we're in a place of being givers, but we're in a place of being takers. The kli enjoys the light for a few minutes until the experience is over. Then the vessel breaks. The vessel shatters and falls into the klipot. Literally how that plays out is in emotions, in feelings, in unbalanced emotions. It manifests in anxiety, and it manifests in fear, and it manifests in panic, and it manifests in isolation, in depression. It manifests in many different ways. Why? These are my vessels. This is all I am. This is me. I am made up of vessels. The vessels, as many vessels as I have, that's how expansive my life will be. That's how happy I will be. That's how satisfied I will be. Okay? Now, these vessels need to be filled with light. That's what they're there for. They're thirsty. They need to be filled with light. The light that I want to fill them with, naturally, as a human, is the light of satisfaction, of satisfaction in the moment. Of this moment. I want to be a millionaire now. I want to be skinny now. I want to be in love now. I want to get what I want that feels good now. I don't want to work for it, go to the gym for it, go to apply jobs for it, go to college for it. I don't want to do all of that. I don't want to have to keep Shabbat and not use my phone, and I don't want to have to restrict my diet, and I don't have to, restrict my dress, or I don't want to restrict anything. I just want to, I want the, how there's a saying in Hebrew to eat the whole cake and keep it full. You also want to enjoy the whole thing, but you also want to, have all the benefits of a person that is working on themselves. A person that wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning and meditates and then goes running and drinks a green juice, their body will be different than the person that doesn't do that and has their milkshake or donuts or coffee in the morning. It will be different because what you put in will determine the results. And your hours of sitting through these classes will and are affecting you. They're affecting you on a deep level, just becoming aware of your internal workings and what works and what doesn't work. So next time you are in a position where you're feeling the resistance, where you're just wanting to do this because it's going to feel good and it's going to be so fun, okay? But I have to wake up early tomorrow, or I'm not feeling well, or I should do some self-care and go to sleep, or I should not go out on Friday night, or certain things that require that there is resistance there, that require struggle. You know that in the struggle, in the resistance, you are reshaping your vessel. You're reshaping your vessel, and that's all we want. That's all we want. Once we reshape our vessel, we are shaping our vibration. Once we reshape our vibration, then we are calling new things into our life. And that's it. And that's it. So the whole putting up the thing, this masach, and waiting for the ol chozer, which is the last part here. The ol chozer is that when I put up the screen and I go to the gym and then I come back to her, and the experience that I have with her is from a giving place. It's not from a taking place. I'm not running after her because I need it. Let's say, for example, you're starving. You're starving. You come home, there's a pot of food on the stove, okay? Or there's food in the fridge or whatever, right? So to put up a masach in that position, in that situation, would be what?
Drink water.
What? To drink water. To starve yourself. Duh. No. What would be again, we remember that breakthroughs happen in needle point moves. Needle point moves. I know people that have decided that they saw the light, they're starting to keep Shabbos from beginning to end, that they're putting themselves in the complete opposite of where they were, yesterday, okay, looks-wise and everything, and they crashed. Because the klipot are too strong. The klipot are the voices and the emotions that haven't been worked out. The klipot are the addiction. You tasted the sugar once and now you want it again. I had a neighbor in New York that her kids never ate sugar. And all these kids were eating lollipops and candy canes and all these things, and they didn't have any pull. You make a sound of a rapper next to my children. What is that? What is that? It's like cocaine. It's like cocaine. It's literally like cocaine. Like my son, they have these candies here in Israel that it's all powder. It's like white powder, and this stick, and they stick it in and look. And I came into the living room the other day, and my kids were both sitting there, and they poured the powder out on the table, right? And they're both sitting in front of the screen, and they both have heaps of white powder in front of them, and I'm like, no, God forbid, right? Because it starts when we're little. It starts with sugar, and then we get used to that stimulus. So we look for an even greater stimulus. What's going to give me more pleasure? What's going to give me more pleasure? Talk to someone that has gone off of sugar and then tasted sugar again after that. They don't feel good. They don't like it. It's ugh. But when our body gets used to something, a certain level of toxicity, someone that's never smoked a cigarette, give them a cigarette. It's scary to see what happens to them, right? Why? Because the body is not used to this poison. So when the body's not used to this poison, then when the reaction is matim, it makes sense that this is how they're reacting to it. But when you get used to a certain level of poison, then not only are you cool with the poison, but you crave the poison. You crave. That's where addictions come from. We get addicted to people's habits. We get addicted to people's character. We get addicted without even realizing that we're addicted. We get addicted. That guy does it for me and that guy does it. Why? Why? Because we've associated somewhere in our minds that equals pleasure for me. Even though it comes with a truckload of pain and hurt and feelings that you don't deserve. Right? So, the sugar, the addiction, that's all in the klipot. The klipot is the voices inside that want more. That's the craving. They want more, they want more, they want more. Okay. And now, the ol chozer, The choser is the light that comes back to us. The light that comes back to us is basically the pleasure that we're able to experience and be able to hold on to the light. Meaning, when you use any kind of restriction in your day-to-day, then you know that when you do partake of whatever light it is, you have to know that that light will satisfy you more deeply. If you were able to say, no, not now, okay, and then be a giver, okay, then put yourself in a giving situation. Either you're really giving to another person, or really you're giving by, you're being a mashpia by not saying yes to this, saying no to this, and saying yes to this. That's you giving. That's you being a mashpia, because now you're aligning yourself with what is good, with what is right, against what is human, against what is normal, against what feels right. And when we do this over and over and over and over again, what we end up walking away with is a tremendous amount of shefa. Shefa is exactly what we all want. It's exactly what we all are looking for. It's, and all of a sudden I feel better. And all of a sudden I don't have to deal with anxiety. And all of a sudden I don't have, because those bad energies, the sad and the broken and the anxiety and all those bad energies are coming from the klipot. And the klipot are only formed by me going after me. What feeds me right now? Who can fill me right now? What can give me pleasure right now? They give me pleasure and then they leave me. Or it leaves me. The feeling leaves me. And then the klipot get very, very, very intense and they get very, very loud. And in order to get rid of the klipot, to get rid of those harsh feelings, the anxiety and the sadness and the fear and all of that, in order to get rid of all of that, in order to have that go away, put it to bed, is to put myself in a position daily where I'm doing things that are not me, not my type, harder for me. And you can go into bed. Okay. Good night. Thanks for coming. Oh, you're also new.
What? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Achuma?
Lucy?
Yeah. Hi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Pleasure. I thought you were Israeli and now you're British? Yeah. Okay, and that is a one of the biggest points in Ein Habdolach. That is one of the foundations of Ein Habdolach. One of the foundations of understanding that when I am understanding that I am the center, I am the nucleus, I am the engine, I am the projector, I am the core person in my life. And everything else around me, the situations in my life, all of them, the people and the situations in my life are all coming as a lesson. They're all coming as a lesson to tell me, stop feeding into the dragon. And stop feeding into the dragon has to be done in increments. It cannot be done in all or nothings. It has to be done, but it has to be done. It has to be done. Getting on the phone with my girlfriend and complaining about it, and with my mom, and with my sister, and with all my people, and complaining about my stuckness. Why is it, and how come, and I went here, but I saw that, and I met him, and then this, and then that happened, and then he said this, and then he said that. And all these stories, and I hear so many of them. So many of them, and I have to hear my own all the time. Once you start complaining, like, not complaining, but excusing, oh, it happened because, you have to know that that is why you feel unhappy in certain areas of your life. That is where your stuckness is coming from. That is where your stuckness is coming from. Don't try to complicate it. Don't try to make it bigger than it is. It's not bigger than it is. Things are not moving for you because you're not moving for you. You're not moving for you. How do I move for me? And we said this so many times. The only way for me to move for me is only through allowing me to be in a position of restriction, where I restrict myself from the thing that I want now in order to have it for real later. That's it. It's a war. There's a war going on between darkness and light. And it's going on inside of us. All the time. All the time. And all we have to do is just recognize the dark and recognize the light. Am I not going to approach her because she's not for me anyway, or she hangs out with weird people, or she drinks her tequila in a weird way, or she, I don't know, has a strange sense of fashion, or am I not going to approach her really because that's so outside of my zone of safety? Why am I really not doing that? Okay. And that's where all the work is done. When you feel scared, when you feel like you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position, when you feel not on top of your game, awkward, not sure of the outcome, jump in head first. Jump in head first. It is your remedy. It is your healing. It is your medicine. It is what is going to allow you to meet yourself for real. And not just get stuck with this old version of self that's satisfying needs in the here and the now in order to just get by, in order to just kind of stay above water, in order to just keep floating and feeling so dissatisfied in the whole thing. And then wondering why no one is coming to love me and no one is coming to save me and no one sees me. Do you see you? Because if you were to see you, then you would be like, child, I love you so much and I know you get such a high from playing with this friend. But sweetheart, it's 8 o'clock at night. And right now, the right thing to do for you is to go to bed. But I have so much fun with him, I know. But you have to choose what's right over what feels good. And what's right over what feels good will always come with a little bit of resistance, a little bit of struggle, a little bit of, I don't want to. Because you're dealing with child, you understand that, right? The child's not going to be like, Mother, you are so right. I wouldn't do what's healthy for myself. Let me tell John to go home now, and I will go brush my teeth, read a book, and go to sleep. So I can be refreshed in the morning so I can think. No. Not my kids. I don't know me, and I don't know anyone like that, right? It's not. It's always going to be like, what? No! 5 more minutes! What? 10 more minutes! What? How come? It's not fair. I always have to go to sleep with... It's always going to come with resistance. The right thing always comes with resistance. Okay? And you taste the resistance, you feel the fear, your heart is shaking, jump. Jump in. Any questions? You guys are very good absorbers.
It's all about dating, all about relationships, because if you don't feel resistance, then what?
If you don't feel the resistance, you create your own resistance. You create your own boundaries within dating. And truthfully, the Torah has a very clear method for guys and girls for it to fully work, even after you're married. There's a method that works. Somehow it works. It could be annoying, it could be frustrating, but it creates glue. It creates the glue. So we think that in order to create glue in a relationship, we have to do X, Y, Z. So some people will be like, I want to be a people pleaser. I'll buy her a bunch of things. I'll take her to wherever she wants. I'll show her my muscles. I'll whatever, metaphorically and really, right? And then it should work, because that's how we go about doing things in this world. You put your best foot forward. You're sweet. You're nice. You have a big smile, right? And you get what you want. And she can think the same thing. Oh, if I just flaunt my beauty, or if I just say what he wants to hear, or if I just sound extremely into what he's saying even though I'm not, or if I just, allow certain things to happen because I have to, then this can work. We can have a relationship. And the Torah tells us exactly the opposite. The Torah says that with regards to, did you ask me, or am I just volunteering information? Do you want to know?
Yeah. Is it the 2 weeks of
You
not,
asked. What's that?
Is it 2 weeks of not sleeping together?
So that's after marriage.
Okay.
Before marriage, what does it in the beginning when a person says, oh my gosh, I fell in love, right? And there was that whole infatuation piece, and like, yeah, we're so, and then afterwards you hear people just like, saying an opposite story to that over and over and over and over and over again in their life, right? Which is they shone their light, each of them dove straight into the light, hours and hours and hours and hours of talking, no boundaries, always together, touching, all of these things. There's like almost like blinding each other with all of this light, that after the initial stage of infatuation, which is what it is, it's being blinded, okay? It's being blinded with so much good. It's almost like, like narcissists, they love bomb, right? That's why people fall in love with them, because there's all this love bombing, so they can't even see clearly, because every time they have 5 seconds to think, all of a sudden, like, there's flowers at the door, or we're going somewhere, or there's something spontaneous happening, or, oh my gosh, this is amazing, right? And what's the point of that happening? The point of that happening is that you get the person in, and then maintaining that is a whole other story. And then people feel dissatisfied and unhappy and cry and get hurt, and relationships are broken. So that's the idea. The idea is whenever there's a tremendous amount of potential for light, like in a couple, like in a marriage, there has to be equal amount of restriction, equal amount of boundaries. If you want anything to work, you have to restrict it. You have to put boundaries on it. Anything. If you want something to function well, like a microwave, you can't be like, oh, it's a microwave, like it works for me, like I don't work for it. I don't work for this microwave. I'm going to put silver foil in it. Why? Because I want to. No one's going to tell me not to. I want to put silver foil into it, and I will, because it feels good right now. Go ahead. See what happens. It will explode. Maybe not explode, but it will definitely not work. Or maybe it will explode. I don't know. I've never tried it. Right? Because there's certain functionality to things. So if you want things to function, if we want things to work, then we have to know that there are certain ways to make that happen. There's certain ways to build this up. So the Torah says, wait, date, don't touch. Because what happens when we touch? We get blinded, because that's pleasure. So all of a sudden we've tasted that pleasure, and all of a sudden we're just like, oh wow, this is so good. And we get blinded to who we're really looking at, to who this person really is. Our brains do that. Our brains throw us into a denial thing. Oh, you were in prison for 13 years? Oh, for tickets. Oh, okay, yeah, I get that. Why? I get it because I don't want to lose what I'm gaining from this. I'm not coming to the table clear-minded. I'm setting myself up for sabotage. I'm setting myself up for loss. It's like getting the candy bar and unwrapping it and eating it right away. So you'll experience the pleasure in those 5 minutes in that infatuation state, but then it will definitely not be there anymore. It will definitely fall apart. So restrictions. Okay, I wanted to say one more thing before we. God, I was telling my parents today. I was with them. I was like, I don't know how. But next class we're just going to go a little longer. And next class, I think. If you guys want to write things down and whatever, it'll be very, 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 we're just taking off. Like we're just going to jump in the pool. We've been jumping on the thing for a while, and then we're going to jump in the pool. We're basically going to learn next class. Okay, so I have all these drawers opened in my nefesh right now. Me restraining myself, for example, right now. Me putting up my warrior armor. It will help me, but how do I now get rid of anxiety? How do I now get rid of pain? How do I now get rid of feeling like I'm not connected to myself? Like now. And so we're going to get really, really, really very, very practical on how to do it in the moment. There's a step-by-step formula of how to do it in the moment. And it's not complicated, it's not difficult, and it works. And I just want to say, two more things, and then we're gonna end. Not this. Okay. Okay. So tino. What is tino? Anyone? What? A pipe. Good. Tino and ratzon. Okay. Tino and ratzon. Okay. Tino and Ratzon have the same letters. Same letters. resh, tzadi, tzadi, nun, vav, vav. Okay? Tzinor and ratzon. Okay. So basically what that means, and I'm just gonna like really cut this short for you, is that according to your desires, your ratzonot, that is your tzinorot. Tzinorot are where you get your shefa from, where you get your abundance from. So you have a roof over your head, you have money in your bank account, you have family, you have kids, you're married, you're all the things that are good for you in your life. Those are coming from your tzinorot. We all have tzinorot, we all have pipes, spiritual pipes, and through those pipes we get our shefa, we get our abundance, we get the things that we need in our life, that we want. Okay? Where things are clogged, where things are stuck, that is the tzinor from that area being stuck. Now it doesn't mean that the light is not being poured, the abundance, that perfect partner, that job, that whatever is not being poured into the tzinor. All it means is that the tzinor, the pipe, my spiritual pipeline is clogged in that area. And to unclog the tzinor is number one, to have good retzonot, to know what I want. What do you want from your life? What do you want? It doesn't mean that you have to have a 10-year plan. It doesn't mean you have to know how to do it exactly, point by point, how to become a millionaire. You don't have to know hows. The hows, throw them out the window. But you have to get clear on what you want. Sometimes we have so many open drawers in our nefesh that we're walking around literally just surviving, just getting by, just looking for the next fix, just looking for the next feel good. We're not living. Okay? So the first thing we have to get clear on is, what are my desires? What are my ritzonot? What do I want to accomplish with my years on this world? What do I want to do? Where do I see myself? Where am I going? Okay? That's number one. And according to your ritzonot, that's your tzinorot. That's the shefa that you're going to get. That's why we learn with this law of attraction business, okay, that you get what you want. You get what you want means your desires, your ritzonot, what your ritzonot are really. You can really, 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 really want to be skinny. But push comes to shove, every single time you can make a choice to go to the gym, you choose to go to Carvel. So do you really, really, really want to lose weight? No. You don't really, really, really want to lose weight. You want to be skinny. You don't want to lose the weight. You want to lose the weight. You just wish somebody else would do it for you. Meaning your ratzon is really not very much to do that. Your ratzon is for what you're doing. Your ratzon is for the Carvel. Your ratzon is to be with that person. Your ratzon, that's where you are, is where your ratzon is. So the idea is to the ratzonot, the desires, need to be clear. Okay, I want to be skinny. I want to lose weight. I want to be in a good relationship. I want to be more religious. I want to, wherever I'm going, okay, in my life, I know what my desires are. Now, my choices, the choices that I make, I need to align with my desires. When I align my choices, my decisions, my stuff, my day-to-day with my desires, my ratzonot, then the tzinorot connected to those desires are opened. It's free-flowing. It goes. It works. The only reason I'm not getting what I want is because I'm over here. I'm not over here to receive it. It's coming in from here, and I'm not here. I'm here. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight, but I'm in Dunkin' Donuts. So of course you're not receiving it. If you just align with what you want, right? Even if it's, again, in needle point moves, little shifts, little changes. Just to say to yourself, I want this, and I'm going to do things that are going to align, actions that are going to align with what I say that I want. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to step up to the plate as opposed to sitting behind the curtain always wondering what it's like to step up to the plate. I want to be in the game, but I'm scared to step up.
Can you give an example, something else besides food? Maybe
Yes.
Like in friendship?
Yeah.
For example, can also be women to women. Doesn't always have to be men to...
So you give me an example. You sound like you have something in mind.
So, I don't know, maybe if you're pleasing someone just to get, I don't know, attention or love,
How would you change that?
yeah, because it's a pattern.
Well, you're pleasing in order to receive something pleasurable. You're going for the light. Okay? So what you would do in that moment is stop pleasing. Your knee-jerk reaction is, what else can I do for you? Do you want this? Oh, can I get you that? Or, right? Don't work so hard. Let me pick that 500-pound suitcase up. You, right? Let me do it, right? In an effort to get them to like you. So you're going after the light. So you're going to put up a masach. You're not going to do that. You're not. You're just not. You don't have to do anything. You just have to not do that. When you not do that, you're choosing to be a giver over a taker. Because even though it looks like you're being a giver by doing, and then you're really being a taker because all you want is the outcome of that. You want to be noticed and glorified and loved and cared for, and someone owes you back something or whatever. Or people say that she's such a nice girl or whatever. That's important to you. So you don't do that. You don't partake of that poison. And instead of giving, where really you're taking, you start to give in the area that is uncomfortable for you. You don't do that. You don't offer your services. You don't go above and beyond. You don't compliment to the nth degree. You don't do all those things. And when you do that, you're in the place, now you're in the game. Now you're in resistance mode. Now it's hard for you. Now, oh my gosh, what are they going to think about me? Are they going to talk about me? Are they going to say I'm not so nice? Are they going to not invite me next time? Now you're in that place. Stay there. Okay? Again, doing more of what we do gives us more of what we're getting. Okay? So that's how we identify it. That's how we're going to identify it. And the last thing we're going to speak about tonight and we're going to say is something that blew my mind when I first heard my Rav say it. It was amazing. And he said, this is really deep Kabbalistic stuff. You have the source in the sheet that I sent you. It's all in red on the bottom. It's all red, but there's the definition, the explanation of it underneath. But in short, it's like this. This is what's going on behind the curtain. This is what's going on not in the matrix. Okay? In the matrix, it's, I had a fight with Alex. I also fought with you last time, right? I also use that as an example.
Every time I see you, you're fighting.
Sorry. Oh no, that's not good. So I had beef with Alex, okay? And so in the matrix, he did something not nice, and I got hurt. That was not fair. My matrix response is complain about him, talk to my girlfriends about him, be angry at him, send him like life-threatening messages, right? Not that I would ever do that, but just like I'm just saying, right? So just that would be in the matrix. That would be like how the world runs. That's how the world is operating. That's how everybody is. You understand? You gotta step on whoever you gotta step on to get to the top. That's what you gotta do. You gotta also step on yourself. You gotta not sleep and not eat and run around like a chicken without a head in order to be able to get that whatever. Okay? That's how the world is. Now, stepping out of the matrix is being in a situation like that, where all of a sudden someone hurt your feelings, and now saying, pause, like in the movies, all of a sudden everything freezes, right? Take a pause for a second and say, he's not really here. It's something that's called en olam. The world around you is the world that you're manifesting. The experiences around you are the experiences that you're manifesting. He's coming at you, and she's coming at you, and your landlord, and your friend, and your mom, and all these things, is because that's what you're manifesting. How are you manifesting that? You're manifesting that reality in your life constantly, over and over again, by being stuck in the matrix, by not realizing that these people, by these scenarios, this situation, this difficulty, this being kicked out of my apartment, this not having a job, this not knowing where I'm doing with my life, all these scenarios are all coming, and it says in Tehillim, Hashem li be'ozrai v'ani ere besonai. Okay? Hashem is a helper to me, v'ani ere besonai, with what I see in my enemies. With what I see or with what I fear, Rabbi? Vani ere besonai is see. What I see in my enemies. Our enemies are dysfunctionalities, our difficulties, our stucknesses, our bad relationships, our insecurities, our fears. All of those things are friends. They're all coming as aids. So fighting him is so useless because he's just a messenger to me. I am just looking in the mirror right now. I'm just looking in the mirror right now. And in that moment, I have to understand that it's and the Zohar says it, and that's what you have written in your notes in red, It says it very, very clearly, and it's very deep, and it's like if we were to like be in my apartment, and it would be 5 of us, and I had some candles lit, that I would read that out to us, and then we would like discuss it to death, because there's just endless amount of hours that we can talk about this specific thing. But in a nutshell, and really just the tip of the iceberg, God sends us our transgressions in the formats of difficulty and difficult people. Meaning, how many times did I gossip? How many times did I hurt people's feelings? How many times was I selfish? How many times did I, not take another person into consideration? How many times, even if it was because I was nervous and I was scared and it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't because I'm mean, but that's what I did. When I meet that again in a person, all of a sudden a person is like screaming in front of me. He's like losing it, like a cab driver. He's just like lost his whatever on me, and he's just like, he's like in my face, and he's angry, and he wants more money and whatever. I have to know that he's coming as a form. He's just coming as a form of some transgression in my life, and me learning how to deal with him right now is the point. Is the point. Me not seeing him as like someone to punch back, fight back, but only see him as a lesson. Oh, you're coming. Oh, I remember the last time I looked like that when I yelled at my mom. I remember the last time I had that face that you have, that face that's like so scary. Oh my God, like what was wrong with him? Okay, I'll give you the money. Let me just get out of this cab. I remember the last time I went nuts like that on someone. I remember the last time I crushed someone. I remember that. You do the work in that moment. You do the work in the cab. You could do the work in the cab. It's like 45 seconds. You do the work in the cab, that experience won't show up again. It's only on repeat because it's still stuck inside. And that's the beginning of our next class. The beginning of our next class is what to do, what's the formula, how do I unwind the situation, how do I gauge the situation properly, how do I not fall into the matrix and fight with the people around me, as opposed to understanding that they're messengers, they're just messengers. They're coming to show me something inside of me that unless I deal with, and unless I figure out, unless I heal, I'm just going to keep bumping into that in my life. So it was my father that was emotionally disconnected and detached, and then it's going to be my child. You understand? Or it's going to be my spouse, or it's going to be my boss. It's going to keep coming back. So that's the work of Ein Habdolach, and this course can go on for another at least 5 sessions. There's so much on this topic, but I skipped a ton because I just want to give the main meat and potatoes of the course. Any questions? Jen, you have some examples for us that you want to share? You good? Anyone want to step out of their comfort zone and say something?
You're amazing.
Thank you. I want someone to share something. Yes.
I saw a quote the other day that everything you were saying reminded me of it. It was something like, if you want to have an easy life, do something difficult now. Have a difficult day today. And so every time you do that difficult thing, step out of that comfort zone, you put that boundary, you're just opening up
for ease. I love that. Right. Do what's hard now to have it easy later, or you could do what's easy now. It'll be difficult later. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is because I have this life coaching thing about me, so I have to challenge you guys, because that's the name of the game. The name of the game is action. You can listen to all you want, and you're all sitting here listening to me so nicely, and it's so nice. I appreciate it. Thank you. But it's all about our growth, and it's all about our expansiveness. And nothing happens here tonight if we're not going to do that. So what I would want to do, and I feel like I can present this, is I would love to go around and have every person, and if it's really hard for you and you don't want to speak, go out of your comfort zone and feel the resistance and do it. You can pick one thing. You don't have to share something so private. It could be just one thing that you're going to do that's going to create a masach. Starting tonight. I'm going to go last. You want to go first?
Can you sleep early?
Yeah?
Under a really fine, and it's just every time it pops out, and it's just under like I plan to go to bed 11, I plan to get 1. I plan to go to bed at 12, I'm going to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait,
So that
hold that thought.
I have to go, I'm sorry.
Can you choose one thing? Can you share one thing with us?
לא עכשיו.
So, okay, so you're gonna do that?
So that's all I can I'm saying every day I wake up. I'm late to work, stuck in traffic, getting all annoyed. And all I'm saying all day, I'm going to go to bed early, I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going home, friend, TV, going out for a spin, and boom, 3 o'clock. Come on, you just... And repeat after repeat every day. And just,
So it's every day?
for the last 10 years, yeah.
Okay.
Every day. I don't remember when I went to bed at 12. I just don't remember.
Are you ready to make shifts in your life?
Yeah, every day.
Good. Can you take one night a week that you're gonna say a certain time and then you're gonna stand by that? Yeah?
That's the day that I go to bed at 12 and I wake up at 12.
Friday.
Yeah. So pretty much the whole week I didn't sleep. I catch up on weekend.
Okay, so do you wanna create a masach there? You wanna create a resistance there?
It's something I want to do.
You're gonna have resistance, remember.
It's going to be tough.
If you don't have resistance, then you're not doing it right. Okay? That's how you know. If you don't have resistance, you're not doing it. You didn't pick the right thing. You have to have a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, I know. Then, it comes, I go to bed at 12:30 and the phone call and the message, what, something like that.
Yeah,
Just,
okay. So you're gonna have to make it a thing,
Yeah.
okay. You're doing it.
The plan, tonight that was the plan actually, to go to bed at 11:30 so,
Is it 11? Is it 11 right now? It is? It's 11?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. So run home, let's go. Go to bed.
half an hour,
I want you to keep your word to yourself. Keep your word to yourself, okay? It's not even so much a matter of the sleep. You're doing well without sleeping. You look fine. You look healthy and happy. But it's not even so much a matter of the sleep. It's a matter of putting up a boundary, creating a resistance. Okay, cool. Let us know how it goes.
Sure.
Me?
Yeah. Tell me your name again. I'm sorry.
Lorena. I will create a resistance.
Should we come back to you? Yeah? Who else? Next. Come on, guys, go. I will not drink Coke. I drink Coke every single day. I will not drink Coke on this day. I will not drink coffee because the first thing I do in the morning, I'll drink water before I drink my coffee. There's a million things that you could choose. A million. I will go on a date and be shomer negiah for the first date. I will keep Shabbos for an hour.
It's got to be what we want, right?
It has to be what you want.
I don't want to give up a croissant.
But you have to be there in order to receive it. You know what I'm saying? You have a want, but you're in Dunkin' Donuts. You have to be there to receive it.
I just started that for a second. Going to bed early, I think this is the only thing that I'm trying to work on, because anything else that I want to do until now, I pretty much accomplished. Not to be mad or angry or annoyed or not to eat sweet, sugar, none of that.
It's just too tired. Too tired.
To do all that, right? Exactly.
I want to get around. I want because it's late and I want everyone to get a chance to say something. What's that?
Keep kosher.
Keep kosher.
I'll try to keep kosher more frequently than what I do, like my everyday.
Okay, great.
That's
We want to focus on needle point shifts. So remember, it doesn't have to be so extreme, but it can be. Let's say, for example, I'll keep kosher where it's hard for me to keep kosher, which is it's your.
it's up to me. So
Okay, good. Okay, let's go. Next.
It's difficult for me to choose once because I made many changes in my life. So I've been out of my comfort zone to come to Israel and to make a year. So I left all. So it's difficult for me to choose now. I'm going to do that because I changed everything. So
You can even say literally, I will take a quarter less sugar in my coffee. It literally is not about the thing that you're choosing as much as it is about the actual just adding more weight to the things. If you're there, then you're there. But that's the idea. It doesn't have to be crazy right now. Okay? And it's also good to also say like, okay, I don't know, I have to think about it, I have to go home and figure it out. But it doesn't have to be really big. It can be tiny. Okay. Thank you. Zoe.
I'm going to fold my clothes in the night and not tie them up.
Can you say that? Can you say one night that you're gonna do that? Every night you're gonna do that?
One night?
You want to do it every night?
Yeah, I want to do it forever. I'm really messy.
So then, can you say I'm gonna?
And it like piles up. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah.
So that's like it's a pattern, and the way to break patterns is small times, like in increments. So if you could say, let's say I will clean up my bed tomorrow night, but for sure tomorrow night there's no way you're going to sleep without cleaning it up, or tonight or whatever. But it doesn't have to be like I am going to be like perfect now, and I'm going to like put away my clothes every night, because then it's like you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay. Cool. Nice. Good. Good.
I want to try always to speak Hebrew, even if it's not the Hebrew on the level that I'm speaking in English or German or whatever. For example, now my baby or son, he's in the gun, and it's a Hebrew-speaking gun, and I'm standing there with all the Hebrew mothers and the Ganenet, and they speak, and I understand a lot, but I can't express myself like I want. So then I seem like she's a bit shy, and it makes me very angry. So I switch to English because it's more comfortable for me. So I really have to try, even if I speak a bit more slowly, or even if I make mistakes, I need to do it.
Good. Good.
Because you can get comfortable with it.
So are you gonna be okay with saying a few? Are you leaving? I was waiting to hear you.
I'm gonna do 10 minutes of yoga before I go to bed, just gentle.
Nice, it's not easy. Good job. You want to share before you guys have to go?
Okay, I'll share something.
Yeah.
Continuing on designing my collection, more than worrying for my friend's store. I'm always running to her store because she's like concerned for how she's going to end the month, and she's probably going to close her store. So I'm forgetting a lot about myself in regarding to continuing designing my collection.
Nice.
So I'm going to
Good.
focus more on that.
Nice. That's right. Put up your shield of armor. What's your name?
Veronique.
Veronique. Oh, I see you in the group. You're in the group, right? Yeah. Okay. Nice to see you.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming. So, okay, so you're going to practice Hebrew more.
Sleep well. Sleep well.
Yeah, So you're practicing your Hebrew a little bit more every single day. Yeah? Okay. Especially when it's going to be weird and uncomfortable. You're going to say, Slicha. Slicha. You're going to do it. You're not going to fall back into English. Comfort. Good. Yofi. Yofi.
I want to go out less.
Go out less.
Yeah.
So that means that you are going to go out 4 times a week as opposed to 6 times a week.
No. No. I want to go out less hard.